I can't believe that guy shot that girl in the neck.
Who?
What? That girl she got shot in the neck.
At the Capitol?
Yeah. She presented zero threat to anybody. That guy just blindly fired through the window and hit her in the neck.
Oh, shit.
He's dead. He's a Navy veteran.
Oh, she was?
Yeah.
Was she one of the protesters?
Well, she was in the Capitol building, but she was standing in front of an entire SWAT team. They were in the same part of the hallway. So, and the guy that shot her was on the other side of the door, and the door was barricaded, and the window was pushed out and broken in. She stuck her head through the window, and he fired at her, hit her in the neck, and killed her.
Oh, shit.
She wasn't even. I don't think didn't look like to me she was even trying to go through the window. She was just looking through there.
Just seeing what was in there.
Yeah, and the guy just pulled his Glock out and went pow, shot her.
Damn.
Well, I'm watching the video now. It didn't look like she was trying to climb through at all.
Let's get started. Let's talk about this.
All
right, lead heads. Welcome back to a new year, 2021. We have left 2020 behind us in the fastest way possible, I think, but it's still dragging its ugly head into this year. I know everyone's heard what's happened at the Capitol. Lots of chaos and turmoil, and of course the liberals are using it to their advantage, no doubt. It's all Trump's fault, but we've got maybe some inside intel, but we'll get into that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. If you didn't get a chance, make sure you go back to last week's episode 378, where we talked about wild game recipes and cooking. We had Jonathan Hayes. Yeah, baby. It's like Chad's having a little wild game right now.
Yes, sir.
Feeding his face. Jonathan Hayes with Deliverance is his organization that he's with. They help teach children at an early age how to properly use firearms and how to hunt and ethically hunt. It's a great organization. Check them out at Deliverance on Instagram. Amy Hall, Her Wild Outdoors. Miss Amy has been on the show a couple of times, and she is an amazing cook from what I understand. She still hasn't shared any of her food with me. Even though she was in studio, I forgave her because she brought beer.
Nice.
We had some good beer there with Amy, and then Amanda Lynn Mayhew from Canada, That Hunting Girl and Just Hunt. She's got her own TV show up there in Canada, and she's a big wild game hunter up there. She hunts bear and wolves and all kinds of stuff. So got some good recipe tips and how to prepare your wild game from that crew. So make sure you go back, check that out. And then, of course, our big giveaway, our $10,000 prize pack giveaway that we did is over. We have the final winners in, and all of them have been confirmed. So if you are one of the winners, congratulations. If you were one of the ones that were a winner and you didn't email me back in time, too bad, so sad for you. We picked alternates. So I wasn't joking when I said you had X amount of time to respond to my email before you were null and void, and that's what we did. So I'm sure Prize Pack 3, 4, and 5 are very grateful for you guys not responding to my email. But that was a great giveaway. Again, go show all those companies some love. There's like over 23 companies we had involved with that giveaway. Awesome time. It was fun to do. Hopefully brighten some New Year's and some holidays there. And then on this episode, Chad, we're going to announce the winner of our 1,000 rounds of ammo from Red Army Standard. A couple episodes back on our Richard episode, Adam announced, to everybody's surprise, that he was going to give away to one of you lucky leadheads 1,000 rounds of ammo. And all you had to do was email me the names of the people that were on that show, what their Richard name was, and what company they were with. And I got flooded with emails. Flooded with emails, and per Adam's instruction, I was to pick 5. He said the first 5, and it was the first 5 that got the correct answers. And if you sent in like 3, 4 emails with your answers, I took your first one. If your first one was wrong, then too bad. Sorry. You don't get 3, 4, and 5, 6 different chances with this many people playing. So we will announce it on this episode, who the winner is. So big news from Kel-Tec Weapons. We've got Chad Enos here with us, and Matt's in the background as always. He's spying. Is that what we determined it is?
It's voyeurism, but yeah.
He's a little voyeurism. But we're going to talk about their new release, which is burning up the Instagrams and the social medias right now, is their P50, their 5.7 calibered pistol. And it is a pistol. So,
yes, sir.
So we're gonna talk about that today. I made a post on social media for you guys to ask questions. I mean, some of you want me to get just downright mean and violent with Chad. I don't get it. You know, I'm gonna have to lean on him. We'll have to hold him to the floor. And geez, man, I think you'll just willingly tell us.
Sounds like the last date we went on.
Right. That was our last night out in SHOT Show.
Yeah, exactly.
But Chad and I mean, really busy. I mean, they're busy with that P50. I've been busy with a lot of things, getting the show ready for the new year. I've kind of missed out on what's happened there at Capitol Hill, so I just kind of got some news and some social media stuff, and we're just going to talk a little bit about that. But that's going to be part of our Jackwagon train. So, Gunny, bring that train in.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the talking lead Jackwagon of the week, so brace yourself, baby.
All right, Chad. So you were telling me you didn't know a whole lot about what was going on, but I think a lot of us know that
the bad news out of the way first. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, let's just get the bad news out of the way, and then we're going to be happy, cheerful from there. We're just trying to understand, It's just all about trying to help us understand and our listeners understand what's going on. But the 6th was when they were going to, I guess, verify the presidential election. They were going to go through and verify all the votes, and there was a big gathering, and I'm sure that on top of, they're calling them Trump supporters, whatever it may. I think it's more constitutional supporters, people who they really want a fair election, which they don't think it was fair. And of course, Trump right before that had a big rally, was stoking people's emotions and stirring people up, getting them riled up. And it turned out to be I guess it turned into a riot, would we call it? They're calling it an insurrection.
I would call what we saw over the summer riots, where people were burning buildings down and flipping over cars and shooting police officers in the head and all kind of stuff. This was, I guess you could call it a riot.
It was a peaceful demonstration just like they were calling the Black Lives Matter stuff. It was peaceful.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You got to put that also into perspective. There was countless people there, and the amount of people that breached the Capitol building and actually went inside were just a handful compared to the amount of people that were actually there.
Right.
So, and they were immediately demonized for it by the people that were there. So they were held accountable by people that are, on their quote unquote same side.
Right.
And anytime we see leftists doing this stuff where they're burning down buildings, murdering police officers, destroying people's families and murdering each other, the left just sits back quietly, and then when they get in front of a camera, they encourage it. So it's the exact opposite.
But they call those peaceful.
Right. Yeah. And they encourage it,
They certainly do.
But then when the tables flipped on them, from what we're perceiving, the table has been flipped on them. I know that some of these people have already been identified as Antifa members, but there are Trump supporters or Constitution supporters that followed them in because they thought they were Trump people, and they thought some insurrection was about to happen, and they wanted to be a part of it. So they need to be held accountable as well.
That's the whole goal of these Antifa, is to cause chaos and turmoil, not just on the left but also on the right. So they see an opportunity to cause a riot and stir things up. That's exactly what they did. They infiltrated that group, and it only takes a few people to get the mob mentality going. So these guys.
To be clear, we've talked about this a lot, especially on your show. If this were some sort of real quote unquote revolution, take all the headlines that all the leftist media is putting out there. This wasn't a revolution. I'm sorry, but how many gun owners are there in America? If we wanted a revolution, that would have happened a long time ago, and it would have been really ugly, and a lot of people would have gotten hurt and killed. This was just a handful of of people that, like you said, got all fired up and they decided they take it upon themselves to go into the Capitol building and start looking around.
Yeah, but like you said, it's those Antifa people that led the way and encouraged it. And 4 or 5 of them take off, and they get 4 or 5 other people like, hey, what's going on? We got to follow and see what's going on, and then they start doing what they're doing. But if you look at it, the amount of people that were there versus the amount of people that actually, I guess, stormed the Capitol, it's just a handful of people basically.
Right.
But it ended up in murder. Somebody was murdered. They were shot dead by Capitol Police, I guess. Some lady got shot in the neck, is what you're saying? You watching a video on it?
It could have been a private security, a politician there. Nobody's really sure yet. Hasn't, as far as I know, reported to today. We've not found out what badge he held. Yeah, Secret Service. But I saw the video, and it was completely senseless. And the guy's life was not in danger. The woman that was shot in the neck was a Navy veteran, and she had an entire SWAT team geared up and armed up, and they were standing behind her. They were behind in the same room. The guy that shot her in the neck was on the other side of the door, and she may have been attempting to go through the window. The window was already broken out, and it looked like she just had stuck her head over through the window, and the guy just pulled his Glock out, shot her in the neck for no reason. I mean, his life wasn't in any danger at all. And if he felt like it was, he could have called on the SWAT officers that were literally standing right behind her.
And of course, he had, he broke one of the basic rules of firearm safety is know your target and what's beyond it. He had no idea what was beyond his target.
Nope, he did not. He absolutely did not. He just fired into a crowd of people.
Well, hopefully that guy will be dealt with properly. Yes. But that whole thing was just chaos. I mean, to begin with, they weren't expecting, any sort of violence from these protesters, which is why they didn't have it amped up as much as they, I guess, could have. Let's
talk about that for a second, because anytime there's a massive gathering, this has been scheduled for a long time, by the way. Right. This Trump thing. It's been, long enough for D.C. police and the powers that be up there, Secret Service, what have you, to put together their protocol, their security protocols. And if you go back and look at security protocol for other gatherings, that Capitol building and all the buildings around there that are protected are massively protected. You've got an army of law enforcement that are kitted up. They've got everything barricaded off. They've got everything blocked off that they don't want the public to see or go into or breach. And in this case, there's been video of law enforcement literally just pulling the gate back and letting people in. And the doors were very easily breached. The walls were very easily breached. And these are by unarmed people with no resistance whatsoever until they got inside the building.
Right.
So it's I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I'm not saying there's any conspiracy behind it, but if that's the case and they could get in the building and this wasn't a planned thing, then they utterly and absolutely failed on the security side of this thing.
So, I think without a doubt they utterly failed. Either way, on a security
right level. The protocols were not implemented for whatever reason.
Yeah,
we'll probably never find out why.
Well, I'm sure we won't.
But they basically just opened the gates and let Antifa in.
Yeah,
and then some.
Well, that's something too. You would think that they would know. Followed. They would know that when a large group like this, especially a enraged large group, gets together, that they're going to have the anarchists that come in that want to just cause, the chaos. They should have been prepared for that.
Especially after this summer, when they saw what Antifa was doing to Trump supporters at every rally.
Yeah,
they were causing chaos and creating violence at every single Trump rally or conservative rally where, constitutional people just wanted to get together and voice their opinion. Yeah. On the other side of the street, you had Antifa guys throwing bricks and rocks and bottles at them and stuff. So they should have known that if this was essentially a 1 million-man march in D.C. To support our Constitution and support our president and voice their opinion, that they would have put those security protocols into place for the opposition or both. Yeah. But they didn't at all. So,
and we ended up with what we got.
We ended up with at least one woman killed, and a lot of other people.
I heard one of the security, either policeman or what, I don't know what badge he wears, but he died. He was like severely injured, and then he died from his wounds. And then
sad, man.
4 other people, I think, died, but they're not saying what it was related. Probably heart attacks or something like that, man. Because they're not specifying what they died from. So they just want to add those into the statistics to make it sound worse than it is, I guess. But it is pretty bad.
Either way, it's chaotic, and it's just a bunch of nonsense, and it is just all of this stuff was completely unnecessary, in my opinion.
Well, the protest was necessary. I agree with the gathering and the protest and the rally is completely necessary. And
I'm referring to the violence.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And I just want to clarify that because I knew what you meant.
Yeah,
absolutely. But there's going to be more in days to come on this. And again, the left is going to use it to their benefit, their advantage. I've already been seeing the comparisons to the Black Lives Matter and Antifa riots that they had versus this, and saying how the police were much more aggressive, and had it been Antifa and Black Lives Matter, the police would have responded much differently than they did to this, which I don't see it. I don't see how they can say that, other than those people would have been more violent earlier, sooner, and shown signs that they needed, additional force or whatever need to be, smoke grenades or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Antifa would have shown up and as you can see, they would have shown up. I believe this is another example that they show up to create violence, to cause violence and cause harm.
That's
and cause
their
division.
sole purpose. It doesn't matter what side.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and then they're calling for impeachment for Trump again, for his
impeachment.
Yeah.
Like the last couple of days, they're going to impeach him.
Well, that's what they're doing. The band of sisters, AOC and all of them have written up articles for impeachment for his. They're saying that he incited it and he was responsible for it in that speech that he did prior to. They're saying that he's mentally unstable. They're putting fear out again of him, saying that he still could. He has the key to all the nuclear bombs. He could launch all the bombs. He could do. He can't do that by himself. No.
So here's the thing. What leftists always do is they cast aspersions on people using the exact same. What would you call it? They're utter hypocrites. They're going to try to paint conservatives and Trump and everybody with the brush that they actually use. Like they are. They're complete hypocrites.
They are complete hypocrites.
They're the ones.
They're calling for peace.
They're the ones that push the.
They're calling for calm. Out. When 4 years of Trump in office, we didn't get that from them. Not one day, not one single hour did we get peace, calm. They were constantly barraging him with threats and accusations and impeachments, and
not just him, but Americans that are conservative.
Right.
Yeah. And what did that one lady, Waters, whatever, she's like, wherever they are, at the airport, at the restaurants, at the whatever, you give them a hard time, you give them hell. Like, they were encouraging people to incite violence on
harassment and violence.
100%. And now they're here saying that he's the one that's inciting it. No,
they're saying we won. You need to accept it. You need to be peaceful, be calm about it. Let's heal. That's their big words, healing. We all need to heal now, like we were all damaged or something from this, from the conservative side of things. No, it was the left the entire time, the liberals that caused the pain and the anguish.
100%.
But anyway, we're preaching to the choir on that. But if any of you lead heads have any inside information, if you were there or if you are there at the Capitol and you've got some firsthand information, I know a lot of our friends on the Instagram and Facebooks were there and have been doing some of the coverage and whatnot. Have you seen anything from any of your friends that are out there?
Yeah, I actually have a friend, an old friend who lives in Orlando, and he went up there and he was filming mostly live. And I went to his his Facebook page to look at his live videos. And the first couple are just, massive gathering of people. It's peaceful. You can hear people talking in the background about how they believe the election was stolen and stuff, and that, they can't believe they have to be there to voice their, to bring out their voice, this, that, and the other. And then a few videos later, there's a guy laying on the sidewalk who's got a pretty big shiner on his cheek, and he's got a cut on his forehead, and he's laying down and he's not breathing, and they think he's having a heart attack or something happened to him.
That could have been one of the 4 that.
He didn't, on his live feed, he didn't have the video. He doesn't have any video leading up to what happened. He just has the guy laying down there, and they're trying to help him and revive him. Not sure what happened to him. It didn't appear that they took his shirt off. It appeared he didn't have any bullet wounds or anything, but he definitely got walloped on the side of the head pretty significantly, and apparently had his heart stopped because of that. But this is a good friend of mine that was up there that I didn't even know he was going to go there. I just happened to see his live videos on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, that's how I kind of came across the whole thing, as I was going through and I saw some posts, and I was like, what the hell is this all about? So I started watching some of the news about it. And
I've basically just been following Dana and what she's had to say about it and what her researchers have come up with. So they supposedly blocked Trump from doing any sort of posting on the social medias. Yeah.
Here's something from the White House. Let's.
They've outright banned him.
Let me play this.
To begin by addressing the heinous attack on the United States Capitol. Like all Americans, I am outraged by the violence, lawlessness, and mayhem. I immediately deployed the National Guard and federal law enforcement to secure the building and expel the intruders. America is and must always be a nation of law and order. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. To those who engaged in the acts of violence and destruction, you do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay. We have just been through an intense election and emotions are high. But now tempers must be cooled and calm restored. We must get on with the business of America. My campaign vigorously pursued every legal avenue to contest the election results. My only goal was to ensure the integrity of the vote. In so doing, I was fighting to defend American democracy. I continue to strongly believe that we must reform our election laws to verify the identity and eligibility of all voters and to ensure faith and confidence in all future elections. Now Congress has certified the results. A new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th. My focus now turns to ensuring a smooth, orderly, and seamless transition of power. This moment calls for healing and reconciliation. 2020 has been a challenging time for our people. A menacing pandemic has upended the lives of our citizens, isolated millions in their homes, damaged our economy, and claimed countless lives. Defeating this pandemic and rebuilding the greatest economy on earth will require all of us working together. It will require a renewed emphasis on the civic values of patriotism, faith, charity, community, and family. We must revitalize the sacred bonds of love and loyalty that bind us together as one national family. To the citizens of our country, serving as your president has been the honor of my lifetime. And to all of my wonderful supporters, I know you are disappointed, but I also want you to know that our incredible journey is only just beginning. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
What does he mean by just beginning?
You know what? He's wrong. He's wrong on so many parts. I know he knows that. He's trying to give some flowery speech, and I get it. But at the same time, the pandemic isn't what shut down our economy or ruined people. Leftists in the media shut down the economy and ruined people's lives. And leftists were murdering people in the streets. Leftists were the ones burning down people's personal businesses and private businesses and destroying courthouses and destroying post offices and police cars and literally ruining people's lives. It wasn't a pandemic.
No, it wasn't.
So I wish you would just get in front of the microphone and say, listen, leftists have overtaken our country. They've overtaken our voting system. They've figured out a way to cheat and destroy American democracy and completely destroy our republic.
It's not even the list. They're Marxist.
And that's literally what's happening right now.
They're Marxist is what they are.
They are Marxists. And it's criminal. This is all criminal stuff, which people don't understand.
And that's what the Marxists have done, is they're infiltrating both sides. And like I said, they're disguising themselves, and they're infiltrating, and they're getting both the sides against one another, to war against one another. And that's exactly 100%. What they've accomplished.
And you know what? I don't need to know any of these people personally to know that is true, because I'm watching it happen.
Yeah.
It's a reality. There is fraud. There was absolutely fraud in that election. Massive. That's
been my whole point, is they've proven fraud, they've shown fraud, but it's not enough fraud. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but that makes no sense.
Nope. Nobody's going to be held accountable. Everyone's going to get a participation trophy, and Trump basically just handed them their participation trophy by that speech he gave.
Yeah. Well,
there's no unity. There's never going to be unity. I know people keep saying that we need to move forward peacefully and we're all one American family. We are not one American family. You have Americans that believe in the Constitution of the United States. They believe in the foundation of this country and every word of our Constitution and everything that's in there and the attitude behind it and why it was written and why this country exists. And then you have people that hate that exact thing, and they don't want it in America anymore, and they want to turn America into some shithole that they've, for whatever reason, been praising their whole lives because these morons that teach them this crap in public education.
It makes no sense that, especially, people that come from these oppressed countries, they come over here and even just other, like California, they'll move to another state. And they'll want to change that state to what they just were trying to get away from.
100%.
Why do you do that? You come here because of what we have and what we've established. Why do you want to turn it back into the turmoil and chaos that you just escaped from?
Because they're delusional, and they think that the next iteration of socialism is going to be the good iteration. It's always going to improve itself.
Yeah.
Socialism
I can do it better.
It's never going to be good. That's why capitalism, that's exactly why America exists, is because socialism and communism were never good and have never been good for any country throughout the history of people. Dictatorships rely on the dictator. If the dictator is somebody that wants to chop off people's heads, guess what? Everyone's getting their head chopped off. If the dictator is a compassionate person and wants to, grant everybody crumbs from the table of the king, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get crumbs, but it's never going to be your destination. You're never going to be able to be in charge of your own destiny, your own family, your own property. That's why America exists.
Yeah, and it's gradually slipping away from us.
It is
in all of those aspects.
Yep, and they are ushering it in.
I love your passion, man. That's why I wanted you on here to talk about this, Chad. There's one thing that really drives me absolutely insane, and that's stupidity. Like the stupidity of these people. And I know exactly what it's like because I was 20 once, and I was super dumb, and I was a liberal, and I thought, why are there borders and this, that, and the other? I didn't know any better, but I never even cared to educate myself. I just got older and started learning all this stuff and figuring out, like, man, when I was 20 years old, I was a complete dumbass. And now I'm looking at these people that are in their 30s, their 20s, 30s, 40s, and they're complete dumbasses. And they believe everything they see on social media and on the news and everything else. They don't understand that this is all constructed. This is something that's been put together. It's a script
to force you to think a certain way. And they're eating it up, and they're telling me that I'm a dumbass. Because I love the Constitution and I love freedom and I want to be left alone. I'm a dumbass. And I'm not just a dumbass. I'm a racist dumbass, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a racist.
And I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of it. I'm over it. I'm over the stupidity.
Well, it's not going to go away, and we can't just quit. So we've got a big hill to climb this next 4 years.
Patriotic Americans just want to be left alone. We want to be left alone by our government, and we especially want to be left alone by these morons that want to usher in.
But when you don't leave us alone, then you've awakened a sleeping giant, and I think that's what we were seeing a small hint of there at the Capitol.
Barely.
I mean, that's just that's one eye open of the sleeping giant right there. Don't get both eyes open.
No,
you don't
not
want to
even,
see
that wasn't even both eyes open. That was a brush off. That was like a mosquito on his ear. Back and play.
I like that. So definitely everything we just talked about, that's all Jackwagonness. Let's talk about some heroes now. We'll talk about some heroes. And we've got some Leadhead submitted heroes. And I'll pull those up now as Chad takes another bite of his big O Sammy. Here we go. So this is from Leadhead Jason. And he says, "Hey, Lefty, I want to nominate Congresswoman Lauren Boebert to Lead Force One for her courage to take the position to publicly announce that she will continue to practice her 2A right. She refuses to back down and give up the right to protect herself. In her ad, she says, I will continue to carry my gun in Washington, D.C. and Congress. I'm 5'0", 100 pounds, and now in one of the highest dangerous crime cities. I am my own security. She has more guts than most. She's hot, ! Likes the 2A and her Glock." Okay. He just ruined it by saying that. But I was like, I don't know Lauren. She's not ringing a bell, so I'll have to look her up, I guess. Lauren Boebert, Are you familiar with her?
I've heard her speak, and I've seen her from what I've seen in the initial reports. I like her. She's got her head on her shoulders. She's smart.
Lauren Opal Boebert is an American politician, businesswoman, and gun rights activist serving as the U.S. representative for Colorado's 3rd Congressional District. She's the first woman to represent Colorado's 3rd Congressional District in Congress. Well, there you go.
Nice.
And she appears to be attractive. Congratulations to you, Opal. You get a ride on Lead Force One. I called her Opal. That's her middle name.
Nice.
Lauren. What about you? You got any heroes?
Heroes. I'm sure I do, but I'm all fired up now because you got me all.
So I missed one a while back, and I want to go back and get him because there's no deadline on heroes or Jackwagons. Chuck Yeager deserves a ride on Lead Force One.
Yeah, he's the pilot, Lead Force One.
Right? He should have been the pilot. I think he was in the running to be the pilot, but he got beat out by the ghost of Charlton Heston. So
right. So
he gets to
Chuck Yeager.
Yeah, he gets to take the stick from Lead Force One from the ghost of Charlton Heston for this ride.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, everybody knows Chuck Yeager. The movie The Right Stuff. It's a great movie. Kind of depicted his life a little bit. The TV series. Have you seen the TV series The Right Stuff yet? I think it's a Discovery or something like that. Discovery Channel show.
I haven't. If it's not on Netflix, I haven't seen it.
It's really good, but it doesn't have Chuck Yeager in it. It should have, but it's more focused on the astronaut, which he should have been. He got railroaded on that one just because he didn't have a college degree. He should have been an astronaut. And I guess he was in his own right. I mean, he broke the atmosphere several times. So that's my hero.
That's a good hero. I'm gonna just same thing I always say. The American warfighter and their allies overseas, just keeping the peace here at home, keeping the fight away from our shores.
Yeah, we got enough fighting going on in our borders, don't we?
Yeah, those guys are always my heroes. Those men and women doing their thing. My uncle's still over in Afghanistan now, and he's working with them every day, and he tells me some pretty amazing stories. And we tend to forget about that because of all the domestic issues we're having here, but they're still over there, these war fighters,
and that kind of makes me speculate. I've thought about this too with all the turmoil, especially, it's amped up, to volume 10 right now here in our country. An opposing country. I mean, would this be a prime time for them to strike?
It's never going to be a prime time for them to strike because behind every blade of grass is a rifle.
Right.
So far.
Don't underestimate us. And according to stats, 25 million more Americans have firearms.
It's up in the 30s, I think.
Do you believe that stat? That there are 30 million new. These are new gun owners.
Yeah.
People that have never owned a firearm before.
Well, see, I've been following John Patton over at TVC because every month he does a recap on the gun sales and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And he said that this was last month. The 4473s that were submitted, and this is according to the FBI data, It was like 32.4 million, something along those lines. So that doesn't mean every one of those translates into a single gun sale or a gun sale at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it can mean that translates to 5 gun sales on one form. So who's to say how many tens of millions of guns were sold this past year?
Right, and gun sales, I get that. I don't have a problem with that stat as far as just gun sales go.
The new gun owner.
Gun owners, I don't buy that there's that many new gun owners. So. Hard
to say, man. I don't know. There's a lot of people that were being interviewed, even out in California, that they went on camera and they said, you know what? My wife and I, we were anti-gun. We were very staunchly anti-gun. And then we saw what was going on around the country, and with coronavirus and all this, people get scared. I'll put it to you this way. There's another kind of cool statistic. At my church that I used to go to in California, the pastor just recently said, this was last Sunday, that they've had 9,000 people showing up on Sundays for worship, the church. Their auditorium only holds like 3,000 people. And so they've had to create tents and all kinds of stuff outside. So if that tells you the level of fear in Americans' hearts, like they want answers, they want to go somewhere that's safe, et cetera, et cetera. Safety is a big thing on people's minds. So it's not too hard for me to believe that there's 30 million new gun owners in America.
So here's what I'm reading here. The Federal Bureau of Investigation conducted a record 39.7 million background checks. So that's not new. That's just the background checks that they conducted. 40% surge over 2019. Now it goes on down here and it says, and I don't know the accuracy of these numbers. This is from Forbes. It says there are, where'd it go? There's something about 8 million. Here we go. The rise in gun sales is fueled by first-time buyers, including women, Black Americans, and senior citizens. 8 million Americans bought guns for the first time in 2020, according to an estimate from Mark Oliva, Public Affairs Director for the National Shooting Sports Foundation. So, I mean, that's a pretty reputable organization. So I'll buy that number. So 8 million, I'll buy that.
Yeah. But we're also not even considering how many millions of people, because I don't know about you, and I'm sure this is the same for you, and any gun owner that's listening to this podcast right now can probably attest to this. I've had family members ask me if they can borrow a shotgun, if they can borrow a handgun, like something for the house, back in March leading up to the summer and everything was going crazy. So there's been transfers of firearms that aren't even necessarily recorded on 4473s, et cetera. So,
and I agree with that too, because I've had the same thing happen to me, and sold some too, so.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. So there's that to consider as well. So, none of it's really that accurately trackable, but
sure.
Let's just say it's a lot.
But I'll buy the 8 million. I'll run with that number. I think that's a good viable number right there. So what about Matt? Is he still there? Has he got anybody?
He's here. Matt, you got any heroes?
He can't say his wife for his amazing Christmas present he got either.
Read my mind.
He said you read his mind. I'd like to say, I always try to give George a shout out for coming up with these cool, innovative, firearms. He's kind of a hero in the firearms industry as far as I'm concerned, because obviously I work for him and he treats me real well. He treats all of us real well. So I like to throw George Kelgren in there.
Okay.
Coming out with some innovative stuff all the time.
Well, I think that's very appropriate because Kel-Tec is celebrating its 30-year anniversary this year. And,
that's right.
And you guys are doing it in George's style by releasing a futuristic, innovative firearm. And that's what we're going to talk about.
Although I don't know how far away from that we could stray, even if it wasn't a 30-year anniversary, because that's kind of just what he does all the time. But this one is definitely a particularly very Kel-Tec gun. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's a space gun. It almost looks like a Stormtrooper's blaster from the movie Star Wars.
Yeah, we've gotten that quite a bit in the comments and stuff on social media.
So. I'm not the first to say that. Okay.
No.
It is very unique looking. It's got a very cool design to it. It is a pistol, and we're talking about Kel-Tec's new P50, their 5.7 caliber pistol that they're releasing. It uses the P90 magazines, same magazines as F&N's P90.
That's correct. Yep.
So let's talk about this. How did this come about? What was the reasoning and thinking about coming out with a, 5.7's not a hugely available. There's not a lot of guns available in that round.
No. So for about 10 years, I'd say, about 10 years, everyone has asked us to do something in 5.7, and particularly the PMR30, CMR30, people wanted to see that done in 5.7 caliber and a couple of other different rimfire cartridges as well. And that platform just not suitable for that. But George knew that there was some demand from Kel-Tec customers for something in 5.7. And honestly, I don't have any idea why he chose this really unique and bizarre platform to do it. But I think what he wanted to do was show that you can do a 50 round pistol, and the only way to do that obviously is to use these mags.
Yeah.
And I'll have to get with him and ask him a little bit more about this. I haven't talked to him too much about the P50 yet, and find out what the inspiration was. But I know that he saw the FN magazine and thought, I wonder if I can build something that accepts that magazine. And so he got to the drawing board and he did it.
So was that the thought the whole time with the magazine, is to build a gun around that magazine, or was there any consideration of making your own magazines? Well,
in order to stuff 50 rounds in a pistol, I don't know if the 50 rounds is what started it, but I know that the magazine was a huge part of why the gun came.
It's designed the way it is. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think what he was trying to figure out is how to insert the magazine. Like, how would you do it? And this is obviously was thought of before the whole brace fiasco that we're going through now was an actual thing. They'd gone back and forth on the brace thing. And it looked like, there was no law against having a brace, and there was no law against shouldering a brace. And I know that was something that had gone back and forth due to letters from the ATF, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. So we haven't heard the end of it.
Yeah. But it kind of died off there for a little while, and then everybody was posting videos of them shouldering and shooting their pistols with the brace on it. Not a big deal. So it was during that time that the development of the P50 was happening. And so I think that was another part of George's thinking was we constantly are asked if we can turn the CMR30 into a pistol so that people can brace the CMR30. And I think this was sort of an answer to the demand of both 5.7 and also coming out with a pistol that you can put a brace on and shoot it like a carbine. So with that in mind, and you look at the gun, it makes a lot of sense.
So now are you saying that you can attach a brace to this?
I'm saying that you can attach a brace to it.
It is doable. It can have, someone can if they want to, right? So you're showing me the back end. There is an adapter portal, we'll call it.
It's a non-swivel QD's cup.
Okay.
And
there are many things that can be attached to that.
We're leaving that. That's an accessory. We'll call it an accessory hole.
because that's the biggest question that our listeners are asking. I know on your website when you guys posted it, that's all is brace. Where's the brace? Can it have a brace?
Of course.
Brace.
So here's the thing. In order for us to, what a lot of people don't understand is that when there's the political winds are fighting against us, we have to do, as a manufacturer, we have to do everything we can to keep these things, to get them going out the door. And so if we had developed this gun with a brace, which was the initial plan,
you'd have to submit it to the ATF.
We'd have to submit. If it got rejected, then the whole gun gets rejected, or we're going to have to modify it a certain way, et cetera, and that's going to slow down production and all those sorts of things. So when you leave it to the aftermarket and you leave it to the customer, especially when you go from state to state because laws change, all that kind of crazy stuff, it's better for us, a manufacturer, to send it out there with the ability to do those sorts of things. If it's legal in your state, your county, sometimes it depends on your county. But what it does is it gets past that ATF these nonsensical laws that we have to
Right.
deal with as a manufacturer. So we can build these things and build them in volume and get them out.
You increase your
so the
chances
customer-
of quicker delivery of the product.
Exactly. So we just want people to understand that, like, yes, we understand putting a brace on this thing would be awesome. And then, of course, if we were to sell it with the brace, you're talking about a much higher MSRP as well. So we would rather leave that up to the customer and the aftermarket to take care of the accessories, those type of accessories for this thing.
Very cool. So the design. So let's talk about it. We're going to kind of talk about the design verbally here. So
Sure.
The length of this, what's the total length that we're talking about on it?
The total length of the gun or the total length of the barrel?
The gun, and then we'll talk about the barrel.
Okay, so the overall length is 15 inches
Okay.
from the charging handle to the muzzle. The barrel length is just over 9.6 inches.
Okay.
It's 6.7 inches tall, and it's 2 inches wide.
Let's start at the muzzle, and then let's work our way back as far as the features and function of the P50. So
Okay.
let's look at the muzzle and what.
Yeah, so-
I assume that you'll be able to have interchangeable muzzle brakes on this. The suppressors.
Of course, it's threaded 1/2 by 28. So yeah, you can put adapters and suppressors on there.
Okay, very cool. We've got Picatinny rail on the top that runs across the top, all the way
There
from
is,
the
and I just
front to the back.
yeah. Funny thing I wanted to notice, like going up from the muzzle before we start talking about the rail.
Yeah. I'll let you do that. You start doing all because you know what to not that I might skip something. So
Yeah, I actually skipped this yesterday because I didn't even realize there's sights on this thing.
yeah, I was just seeing that. Yeah, I was like, there's this.
Yeah, so it's got like kind of an A2 style post there, and in the back, it's got a U-notch, blacked out U-notch sight just above the
right.
charging handle. So I wanted to get that out of the way before I forget it.
And that's an adjustable front sight up and down.
And that sight radius is probably 14-inch sight radius. It's pretty long sight radius. Yeah, so the front's adjustable for your elevation, and then the rear is adjustable for your windage.
Okay, very nice. So it
Yeah.
comes-
So anyway, yeah, and on top, the top part, this is actually the receiver. Is all aluminum and steel. It's where your bolt carrier group is, bolts. All the important stuff is aluminum and steel.
Mhm.
And then the bottom half of the gun is mostly polymer, with all the important stuff being your hammer, hammer
Trigger group.
safety, trigger group, and all that stuff being steel.
Anything different in this trigger than any of your other guns? You done anything different with the trigger?
This gun is an absolute departure from anything we've ever done, which every gun is an absolute departure from every gun we've done. But it's actually very simple design, simple safety, simple, same mechanisms you would find in just about any other firearm with a rotating safety. This one flips, it's about 45 degrees.
Got an ambi safety. Yeah.
And it's ambi in typical Kel-Tec fashion.
Yeah.
You've got two on the carrier. You've got two recoil rods and springs,
Okay.
and then you got these. They're like counterweight buffers.
What do those help with?
They're just buffers for the carrier.
Okay.
For the recoil to stop the carrier when it's supposed to stop and
Gotcha.
bring it back when it's supposed to bring it back. So,
So you've got two recoil springs in this.
yes, yeah,
That's different than most guns.
yeah, definitely. Well, it's different in that they're side by side.
Mhm.
Typically in a pistol, you might have 2 or even 3 recoil springs on a single recoil guide
On a
rod.
single, guide rod. You got two
Yeah.
side by side. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 side by side here.
Good clarity there.
Yeah, it's very. Look at the bolt. It's very wide and flat.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, the best.
This has reminded me a lot of the PP43 that I've got over there, the old World War II gun.
Oh, very cool. Well, yeah, and any of you Kel-Tec fans are going to know that George is. He tries to bring some kind of old school look and feel to a lot of these modern guns. So George is 72 or 73 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So that's he grew up with that, those guns in that era. So
Now the holes that you have on the side, they're round.
yeah,
are you able to attach anything to those, or is that going to hinder the spring and bolt movement?
You can see in there, there's not a ton of clearance, and those holes are there for
ventilation.
Ventilation, yeah.
Yeah, I like them. They look cool.
Yeah, initially when I saw the upper, I thought, man, that would have been cool to do M-lock slots or whatever. And then as I took 2 seconds to look at it and realize you can't really attach anything there because this is where the entire action and stuff is, and you'd be impeding on the carrier. Did something like that, so
there's no ability for side attachments.
No, well, I mean, there's always 45 degree.
Well,
so what we do
off the top
we
rail,
on the top rail, and then of course you've got a small, about 7 slot Picatinny rail on the bottom as well.
Put a light,
or an angled foregrip. I'm going to do a video on Tuesday to demonstrate not the best ways, but some of the practical ways to set one of these things up, and I'll get that posted on our social media. So anybody following along, next week, I'll have a video of me at the range actually shooting this thing. So
cool.
And we'll talk about the differences between a brace and using a sling to accomplish the same goal.
Sure. It'll be very similar to your PLR 16.
Correct. Yeah.
As far as the sling or putting a brace on it. Now I've braced my PLR 16. You've seen it.
Nice. Yeah, it's very cool. I love that.
That's what I was going to show you right there.
Oh, nice. You're talking lead mags?
Yeah. Mission First Tactical.
I need that.
Leadhead Brigade. You need some of that? I'll send them to you.
I need that. Yeah, that's cool.
I'll send those.
I need those for my RDBs.
Yeah, baby.
But so we've had some people compare the SU or PLR to this gun. They're completely different, obviously, calibers and platforms.
Yeah.
This is quite a bit smaller than the PLR as far as the height of the gun.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really kind of
It's a lighter too. It looks like a lot lighter without the magazine.
Yeah. This mag weighs a pound when it's loaded.
We're gonna get to that mag. Yeah, we'll get to that mag.
Yeah, but what all of that and this actually feels. I don't know what the weight is on the PLR. I can look that up, but I feel like this is probably slightly heavier than the PLR.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But
it looks
the cool
a lot
thing
lighter.
about that is, when you shouldered it with the sling on it, and you're holding it with 2 hands, it's super balanced. It's very minimal recoil because it's got that nice heft to the top of it. So it shoots real smooth.
So I'm seeing. Hold that back up again on the front. Pop the top for me, because this is the pop tops, and this is how you load the magazine. So that piece in the front there, that's kind of U-shaped around the front.
Yep. It's a guide.
Okay, but so I'll close it for me. I see real estate here. I see potential for adding accessories on this, putting something. Sure. Modding that out. I don't know.
Yeah, this whole thing here, I guarantee you, I'm glad you brought that up, because an aftermarket company is going to come up with a 3-bolt pattern thing to replace this. It'll allow you to add
something,
whatever accessories.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing that as real estate that could be used for whatever. Somebody innovative is going to come up with something cool that you can attach to the front of that. But yeah,
absolutely. And just I want to point that out real quick too, that we love the aftermarket when it comes to our stuff. And the last few designs that we've put out, we've had that in mind. We knew that there's going to be places where people are going to want to change things up and create parts for it to replace the parts to make the gun better. And the cool thing, and people ask us all the time, well, why don't you guys just do that or whatever? Well, 2 things. We're busy trying to get these out the door. I don't know if you noticed, but our guns are really hard to find. So
most guns are these days.
Yeah, we want to try to minimize our production our production time to try to get these things gone. Get them out the door, and it does have to do with cost. So if you're the person that doesn't want that accessory on there, why would you pay for something that allows you to put that accessory on there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And if you are the person that does want it, then you buy the gun at a good price, and then later down the road, if you want to add that, then you can spend that money later and add that accessory on there. So
absolutely.
we love the aftermarket, and the aftermarket also creates jobs.
Yep.
It actually upstarted quite a few businesses. M Carbo and Red Lion Precision are two great examples of companies that took our products and re-engineered some of the parts in it, and then sold them at the aftermarket. And so, I said, some people
a customer.
love having those. Yeah. Some people love having those goodies and could afford those goodies, and some people just like the gun stock and they want to afford the gun.
But like you said, typically, and especially if you get it aftermarket, it's going to be cheaper too. If you guys were manufacturing, it'd probably be a little bit more expensive. And
that's true. Yeah, because it's cutting into our manufacturing time and the actual guns themselves.
Yeah. So that's smart. So let me see.
And the thing about the accessories market is that it's very adaptable, and it rolls, and Gen 2 versions and Gen 3 and Gen 5 versions of aftermarket parts can come out and be available a lot faster when it's a company that only makes those things. If we were to offer accessories, our priority is guns, so the accessories are going to take a back seat when things get heavy and hot. And so like a second gen or a third gen of the accessories are going to take a lot longer if we were to produce them as opposed to third party.
Let me see let me see you charge it. Let's see how that works.
I got a live mag here. Let me take it out.
Okay.
It's almost
like an AR. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's got a locking latch.
What's the length of
Just
pull
like
on
AR.
that? How far do you have to pull it back?
Not far at all. I mean, if you touch this thing, it opens it up.
Yeah.
So.
And pull it. Pull it for me.
Yeah. So.
Good
It's
point.
obviously ambi.
Yeah. So very similar to an AR then. It's got about the same length of pull to charge it. And then you got that slit in the top. Is that where the bullet comes out? That's your ejection port?
That's your ejection port. Yep.
Okay. So that's unique. That's different.
So when you say top, you're right. It is on the top of the chassis.
Receiver. Yeah.
However, the rounds don't go straight up. They're not in your line of sight. I just want to point that out, that they actually come out at a 90 degree.
Okay.
Just like a normal handgun would.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they eject out pretty far.
Yeah, I would bet. So when you're
fun.
doing the testing, what kind of velocities were you getting from do you have tests on that? Do you have numbers on that?
No, I haven't had a chance to do that yet.
I would think that you're getting higher velocities out of this than you would, say like Ruger's. They've got a 5.7. Maybe even, is this longer than the P90 barrel? This barrel?
No, P90 is a 16-inch barrel.
Oh, it is a 16-inch.
Yeah. That's a carbine. So,
they're so small and compact, though. You wouldn't think that
I know
that long.
Know, right? Yeah, that's a really neat design. I mean, I like them. I think they're cool.
Yeah.
But yes, you're going to get some really good ballistics, for it being a handgun with a 9.5-inch barrel. That's pretty significant.
Well, it's good that it comes with two mags.
It's definitely a great little varmint hunter. I mean, 100% great varmint hunter. Yeah.
No doubt about it. That round is it's very versatile in what you can use that round for. It's good to see that you've got a new design in which to use that round now, because there's so few. It's limited on the delivery methods for that round.
Yeah,
I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
But it's cool that you guys have come out with this, and the design is just, like I said, everybody's just like, wow, it's futuristic. Let's go to some of our listeners' questions that they have. And we'll go to Instagram first. Instagrams, the grams. If my phone will connect. Here we go. So let's get to some of these more aggressive, violent ones that they're wanting to. They're wanting me to hold you to the floor. So Giddy Up says, hold Chad to the floor and ask him about all the concept Kel-Tec space guns they are working on. We'll save that one for last.
Okay.
Again, here's a brace. Can a brace be attached? Yes. There's a port in the rear that will allow you to attach different things.
It's a non-swivel QD cup.
A non-swivel QD cup.
Yeah.
Is it already threaded? We answered that.
It is. Half 28.
All right, here's another one. Lean on him about why no braces for obvious Kel-Tec guns, including the P50 and other calibers for the RDB. Well, we just proved you wrong on the P50, so that is going to be available.
We covered that. Mostly for availability, price, and to protect the firearm from being banned, if that should happen.
And what about other calibers for the RDB? That in the works?
Other calibers for the RDB right now, if you're paying attention to the industry at all, everyone is absolutely and utterly swamped. Like we just said, there's 8 million new gun owners and 32 million sales, et cetera, this year. So we are absolutely swamped, and we have plans to and prototypes of different calibers for the RDB. However, at the moment, we're doing everything we can to try to keep up with orders from distributors. So we are just trying to pump as many of these guns out the door as we can, and we've only got so many machines and so many employees.
But there's probably thoughts of that. Yeah.
No, we definitely. I mean, we've even announced as much as different calibers.
But it's not going to be anytime soon. So
the RDB, we need to get through this, Fire Armageddon we're going through right now.
That was from Rob Hunter Art, longtime lead head there. Great artist too. Go check out Rob Hunter Art on Instagram. Mustang Perry says, will there be different versions such as a rifle or integrally suppressed, i.e. the Sub 2000?
It's not a no, but again, this is the first. The first version of this particular gun. I'm sure it's going to go through changes over the years for sure.
Yeah.
It's never a no for stuff like that. We love all that stuff too, but we need to get the initial guns built so that, everybody can have one and be familiar with them and have a good time.
Rabid Porcupine asked, how long is that damn barrel? Thing looks real long. We answered
9.6 inches.
9.6 inches. A lot longer than you, Rabid. J. Edgar Paradox, that is badass. Has my name all over it. What accessories can be used? Is it brace ready? We've answered. I think we've answered both of those. So you've got a top Picatinny rail that runs the length of the chassis, and then you've got a front Picatinny rail where you could attach a light or, like Chad said, a hand stop or something like that. Can't put a forward grip on it because that would be illegal.
You cannot put a vertical forward grip on it. You can put an angled forward grip on it.
Thank you for the correction. That is correct.
Nothing that comes 90 degree off the Picatinny rail.
And then Reeves 89, is that a proprietary mag or will it use standard P90 mags? We've answered that. It's going to use the P90 mag. So if you've got the P90 mags, you're set. If not, it comes with two. So that'll tide you over until you go find some more and buy them. Let's see. And one of our lead heads already answered that for him. So look at that. We've got lead heads answering lead heads questions before Chad even gets a chance to do that.
Nice. I love those people.
Right. It's like we went to the website and it says it comes with two standard PMags. Can it be shipped to California? Asking for a friend. Wink.
Don't know. I'm not sure what California's laws are on handguns.
XJ 2013 asked that. Switch throttle, do they have a 10-round version for communist states? Again, going back to California.
We do not. Not as of, I don't even know if there's such thing as a 10-round P90 magazine.
I haven't heard of one. I mean, I guess it could be rigged to be that way. I don't know. But then it could be unrigged and that would still be illegal.
Don't know.
Adam wears black. What in the name of Spaceballs is this?
Hope you like it, Adam.
That's my favorite one right there.
Welcome if you got them.
Mark Teza, again, shoulder stock question. Can I have it? Question. We've answered that. See this one yet? And this is the guy sharing it with one of his friends. I think I got most of the ones on Instagram there. Let's go to Facebook, see if we got any unique ones there. I just really want to stop Facebook too. Just quit using Facebook altogether. And really Instagram, I'd like to quit using it too. I've started Parler. I just need to concentrate on Parler more, I think.
I started a Parler account and haven't been back since.
Yeah, I've only made a few posts on there. I need to be more conscious with it because I think it would be a good switch over to get off these. Let's see. How many more space guns? Okay, well, that's one we're going to ask in a minute. What is the purpose of the groove in the front of the trigger guard? I haven't seen anything about that yet. Can't wait to get the chance to purchase one.
That was initially for
Kyle Osterholt.
That was initially for a side folding stock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
that's why that was molded molded that way. And then of course Stockmageddon happened, and so we're just not we're not going to touch that. And hopefully that, I mean, doubtfully, but hopefully that clears up. Yeah. And we can get back to normal operations.
And maybe a side folder in the future?
It's possible. Depends on the legalities, but we'll probably, again, leave that up to the aftermarket.
That was from Kyle Osterholt. Kenneth H. McGee, a la Star Wars, does it come in white?
I bet you Mike over there at Blown Deadline will make anything white.
I guarantee
Whatever you want.
Yep. A little Cerakote, fix anything. A little Hydro Dip. You can probably Hydro Dip this one pretty easy. Will this be submitted to the official to be the official arm of the United States Space Force?
You know, it's funny. Funny story. Matt just told me that our local Air Force base has officially changed their sign. It's now Patrick Space Force Base.
Oh, you got to take a picture of that. Send that.
I'm not even kidding you. Yeah. We wanted to go there and take. He said it'd be great. Wondered if we could do it. Go with a couple of P50s and take pictures in front of that sign with it. But
I guarantee
the thing is, it's you can't go on an Air Force Space Force property with a firearm.
Well, if you call them, I guarantee you for publicity they would love that.
Maybe
I bet
we
they
could
would love
probably work that out.
But they would love that. Let's see. Are there any 22 long versions planned?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, you'd have to make your own mag, wouldn't you? At that point.
Yeah. Well, no. I think doesn't the P90? Don't they do Isn't there a 22 version of that gun?
Ooh, I don't know. Let's Google it.
I could be wrong. I feel like I've seen that before, though. Oh, yeah. You know what? Matt's right.
What?
Ruger makes a conversion for it, a 22 conversion for the P90.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah. No plans for that. I mean, everybody has been yelling at us to do something in FiveSeven, so we did.
Yeah, now they're wanting you to do the 22, which you guys you do well. You do 22s well, but everybody wants a 22.
Yeah. I don't blame them. That's a good question.
We answered the question about this. Is there a rifle version of the P50 planned? How does the mag release? I have trouble picturing how this works. Pierce Taylor. So just
if you go to our Instagram page, he can see. We did a boomerang the other day. He's probably already seen it by now, but you can see how you open the top and put the mag in.
Pop tops. It slides there in between the lower and the upper, and there's a little front part that we were talking about earlier. Secures it.
So the front hinges, and then in the back you've got I guess you'd call it the mag release, is just a lever that you pull down on, and then
so that little beaver tail looking thing you guys look in the pictures on the very rear, that's the mag release. Okay.
Yeah, you pull down on that with your thumb, and the whole top of the gun comes up, and you put your fresh mag in and slam it back closed.
And then Jacob Rozecki, he was asking about the charging handle, and we talked about that. So it's an AR finger quote style charging handle for that.
Yeah.
Very nice. I don't see any other questions there, so I think we answered all of our listener questions. Was there anything else that we needed to point out? Maybe we forgot. I mean, the sights or something. It does come with sights, so we want to point that out again. But then you can easily put a red dot on this.
There's no question that a red dot or some sort of a reflex
laser
sight is going to be exactly what everyone does with this thing. The sights are definitely usable, but it'd be a shame to not use this platform with some sort of a red dot, or even if you're a varmint hunter, like a long relief scope, would be great on this thing too. You've got plenty of real estate for it.
Yeah, definitely. I would say you said it overall length is how long?
What did I say?
You said it's 9.6 on the barrel, so I'd say you got at least 10 inches of Picatinny rail there, right?
Yeah. It's 15 inches long overall, and almost 3/4 of it on the top is
it's the pick rail.
Yeah, it's the pick rail. Yeah.
Nice, very cool. I'm trying to think of any other questions I have. I mean, I'm just in awe of it, looking at it. I mean, there's all kinds of things that come to mind, but
so it. I've had questions about recoil impulse. You know, how does it recoil, whatever. And I touched on it earlier, but it's a very smooth shooting gun, and anybody that's shot a quality 1911, you know, as opposed to like a Glock or something like that, understands what I mean by smooth. It doesn't feel like it recoils a whole lot.
Yeah, it's a smoother shooter than a 9. than a 9mm. It's a lighter
Yeah,
bullet.
there's nothing violent about the action whatsoever. It's real smooth shooting and very, very accurate. This round, and I'm gonna shoot some paper to give everybody an idea of the accuracy on Tuesday.
Okay.
I've only shot it on steel so far, but I've taken that single shot on the fresh paint and then aimed at that spot and gotten groups on there, and it's just like a little 1-inch group at 35 yards or wherever 40 yards we were at. So
nice.
I know that's very accurate. If you're doing your part, you can really. And that was with me using a sling. I wasn't even on the bench. So
just for some comparison, the 9mm versus the 5.7 by 2.8 millimeter. A 9mm is 0.355 inches. A 5.7 is 0.224 inches. The rim diameter 0.392 on a 9, 0.307 on the 5.7. The case length is 0.754 inches, where on the 5.7 it's going to be 1.138 inches, so it's a little longer. Total length 1.168 inches on the 9, 1.594 inches on the 5.7. And then you got bullet weights. On 9mm, you get 115 up to 147 grain standards. And then 5.7, 25 to 50 grain on that.
And the 5.7 was developed to actually replace the 9mm way back in the day when this round was developed. So It's got great ballistics, definitely.
Yeah, so it's going to be a little lighter, a little smoother, and you're going to get probably a little better accuracy with it. In theory,
I mean, you'll definitely get better distance than you would out of a 9mm pistol. Yeah,
and especially with the longer barrel there that you're shooting with that too.
Yeah, 9.5-inch barrel, very good ballistics, for the cartridge, and so that's
what I want to see. I want to see head to head the Sub 2000 versus the P50.
Ooh.
I get to shoot the Sub. You shoot the P50.
Yeah, with power to weight ratio, I'm going to go with Sub 2000 on that one.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see, though.
Yeah. Now, Sub CQB that's got a 4.5 inches of rifling as opposed to 9.5 with this, but you got bigger bullet. That'd be pretty neat. Within we'll just call it combat range.
Yeah.
Like maybe 50 to 75 yards or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Stretch it out. That'd be kind of a neat comparison.
I think we do it at 100.
Sure.
Do it at 100 just to stretch the legs, definitely. I like that. So we kind of touched on this a little bit. Was there anything else we need to talk about? Price point. We didn't talk price point. So let's talk price point on this before we wrap this up.
Sure. MSRP is $995. That puts the street price at, when we're not having this insane, gun buying spree that we're having right now, the panic buying, that'll probably put this thing at $650 at your local gun shop. It's somewhere from the $650 to $700. And again, that's when things calm down, and hopefully they calm down enough to bring these ammo prices down, because this 5.7 ammo is not cheap right now.
Yeah, just for instance, I'm gonna pull up and see what it's going for.
About $130 to $150 around. That's what I've finding.
Dang.
I'm sure there's people that can find it cheaper, but I just did a quick search and that's what I came up with. Here
is a Sportsman's Outdoor Superstore, and they're not showing any ammo.
That's the other thing. This is if you can find it.
If you can find, it's like if you can find any ammo. And speaking of ammo, we've got 1,000 rounds that we're going to be giving away here in just a second. Ammo Seek. You ever go to Ammo Seek?
I have. Yeah, I love Ammo Seek.
Yeah. So $160, $184, $185, all the way up to $290.
Wow.
Yeah. So not a cheap round. It's not.
Yeah.
At this point.
When this gun was being developed, that was not the case.
Sure.
Just so everyone knows. But yeah. So going back to the MSRP, so $995 is the MSRP. Hopefully, everything will start to calm down since the election's over, and hopefully, there's not a bunch more violence and stuff scaring people and scaring prices up.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then then after that, all we really need to be dealing with is the legislation. Fortunately, the Supreme Court looks to be okay. It's not great, but it's okay. So hopefully our rights are mostly protected. And if all that's the case, then you should be able to pick this gun up between $600 and $700 at your local gun shop. And we are going to be shipping these things starting March. So we're making them now. We're going to start shipping them in March to distributors. So
very good. So in time for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I tell you what, Matt and I have, we were a little frustrated with the leaking of the photos.
You had a little subterfuge? Somebody?
Well, was it Guns and Ammo, Matt, that made the magazine? Yeah. So they made this amazing magazine for us, and it's just like a Kel-Tec brochure type thing, and it's beautiful.
Uh-huh.
And the P50 was on the cover. Well, one of our superiors was over in the shipping department when they came in. He opened up a box and looked at it and thought, "Oh, that's awesome," and started handing them out to employees. So this is his project, by the way, you got to keep in mind. So he knows the gun's not released. He just got so excited, he handed the magazines out. So
of course, the employees just thought it was okay to talk about it then.
Yeah, I initially thought it was a Guns and Ammo leak, and I'm like, oh man, somebody's in big trouble over there because this isn't supposed to be out yet, you know?
Yeah.
As it turns out, it was an internal thing, and our supervisor, our higher up,
still there, still hired.
Yeah, no, he fired himself immediately after that, and then rehired himself. Came back to work the next day, so it's all good. But yeah. So anyway, it's Derek's brother. It's George's son. So
okay.
He got excited. It turned out to be really funny. But what happened was it created this like firestorm on social media, which was kind of cool. But at the same time, Matt and I wanted to have control over the release. We didn't want to release anything about the gun until we were about to send it out the door. So this isn't your typical like Kel-Tec shows something at SHOT Show and then 4 years later it comes out. That's not the case here at all. So just want to let everybody know that.
Yeah. Well, you guys learned your lesson on that a while back, and you've done real good about not releasing stuff until it's ready to be actually shipped.
We were finally able to convince George to hold on to his excitement, because that's what happens. Like you come up with something cool like this, you get excited and you want to show everybody.
Tell everybody. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, when you're not even ready to go into production on it. And so we used to do that, but like you said, we backed off on that. So we are producing them as we speak right now, and they will be shipping to distributors at the beginning of March.
Very cool. So something to look forward to next February, March, 2 months away.
Yeah.
You know, my birthday's February, so an early birthday present wouldn't.
Yeah, our birthdays
I wouldn't be
like
mad.
A week apart. We talk about this every time we're on the show.
I know
it. All you lead heads out there, our birthday's in February, so
there you go. You know, this would make a great birthday.
I wear a size 26.1, so yeah,
26 size 5'7" by 2'8".
I wear a size 5'6". I wear a 5.56 suppressor size.
There you go. What can did you have there? Was that a dead air?
No, this is a Griffin Armament.
Griffin, okay.
M4 SDK.
Interesting.
Great suppressor. I love it, and it would look great on this thing too.
Oh, that would be perfect on there. Yeah.
Yeah. So
have you shot it suppressed yet?
I have not. They have over. Engineers did next door. I've not been able to shoot it suppressed. I'll probably do that on Tuesday.
On your video?
Yep.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we were going to do a fact to fight the myth, but I think we already kind of talked about it as far as the production and things that you guys have been doing. You actually have produced more firearms in 2020 than you have any other year. Is that right?
We have. We actually put out 190,000 guns in 2020, and the absolute best year we've ever had was about 170,000 guns.
Wow.
So yeah, and we had some
almost 20% more. That's wow. That's great.
Yeah, and it would have been about Adrian estimated about 210, but we had some production hiccups in one of our departments that slowed a lot of stuff down. So yeah, next year without any hiccup, or this year, sorry, 2021, this year, hopefully we'll get closer to that 200,000, maybe even more. Which I'd like to remind everybody, we have 317 employees. That includes all admin, marketing, and then obviously machine shop and assembly. So we're a very small crew putting out a lot of guns.
That is. I mean, if you do the numbers on that, that's how many did you say you had? 314?
317 employees.
317.
Yeah.
Let's just say 180,000 divided by 318.
Yeah, we did 190,000 this year or last year.
That's like 56 guns per employee.
Sweet.
And of course, not all of them are making guns.
No, not at all. In fact,
actually, physically making the guns, you've got way less than that.
Yeah, we have about 60. It's around 60, maybe a little more than 60 CNC machines. That's the size of our actual shop, and then we've got there's a little more than that because we have a whole lathe department now as well.
Yeah, you guys just kind of ramped up your production in the last couple of years too. Your facilities, not your production,
big
your
time,
facilities. Yeah.
Big time, yeah,
to be able to do more.
And there's still, there's when you put up a new building and put new machines in, there's growing pains. So those we're not even at full capacity on a lot of that stuff yet. Yeah. So this year probably we'll hit our stride this summer and everything will be up and running 100% and everybody will be trained and all that stuff. So
yeah.
Well, it'll be a really, really good year for us if we can keep the political wins from.
Got to keep our eyes on the politicians, definitely, and the tricks and shenanigans that they're going to be up to. I've already seen. I was just scrolling through the headlines today, and the headlines that I was seeing are already ramping up for gun control, more gun control. There was something about Gabby Gifford in there I saw. I mean, you hadn't heard from her, and I don't know how long. Her husband apparently is. He's in the Senate or something now. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the country's been dangling that carrot in front of these anti-gun politicians for a while. They've got a hold of the carrot now.
Yeah.
So we need to do everything we can. And guys, I know that the NRA has pissed you off in one way or another. But please don't throw the NRA under the bus, the entire NRA under the bus. We still need the NRA. I know there's a lot of people that have canceled their memberships and they've been, absolutely adamant about not ever supporting the NRA again, etc. We love all the other gun groups too. Absolutely support them more, but don't completely. If you're going to donate $20, give $3 to the NRA.
Yeah.
Give the
and
rest
just keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
Keep watch on them. I know, like Chad said, a lot of people are frustrated. They canceled their memberships and never going to go back, but it's going to change because they're seeing the dissatisfaction of their members. And
absolutely,
it's going to change, So keep an eye on it. Be willing to be open-minded. But there are other great organizations out there. The NSSF is, great organization to get involved with.
Gun Owners of America. There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, there's tons out there.
Yeah, do your research and support them as well. But again, don't throw the NRA under the bus because they are still the most powerful lobby in DC as we speak. So
yeah,
we need them right now.
Very well put.
It's gonna be a rough 2 years. So
Chad, let's give away 1,000 rounds of ammo from.
You want my address or?
You should have entered. You should have been listening to the show. You could have entered to win.
This is for the listeners, man. I mean, I'm a listener too. But
You're a leadhead, and I encourage everyone to enter, even our friends of the show, our sponsors, except for people who are associated with the actual giveaway. So
you know what, man?
And of course, I can't enter either.
I'm in the industry, and I there's nothing more than I love to see a guy that is an engineer somewhere, a hardworking guy. Maybe he's works at the trash company or something. I want to see somebody like that win stuff like this. So.
Yeah. So we had, like I said, I had just hundreds of you send in emails for this. You had to get the right answer, and this was back in episode 377, where we did our a very Merry Richard Christmas, or I think it had two titles. I can't remember what it was, but it was our Richard episode for Christmas. Oh, State of the Industry, and State of the Industry is what it was called. But this was more of our productive Richard shows. If you ever listened to our podcast and you had the Richards, it's usually chaos and buffoonery and shenanigans that go on. And that did happen in the first part of the show, but we gained control and we actually talked about some important things that were happening in the industry, especially on the manufacturing side. And then, of course, Mike Sodini with Walk the Talk America on what they're doing with mental health and bridging the gap between the mental health and the firearms industry. So it's a very good show. You definitely want to go back and still listen to it, even though the giveaway is getting ready to conclude right here. So per Adam's instruction, you had to pick 5 of you with the right answers, and it was the first 5. And like I said earlier, if you submitted 3 or 4 different answers, then I took your first one, and if it was wrong, it was wrong. But we've narrowed it down to the 5, and here they are. We've got Neil Berkowitz.
Right on.
Steve D. I didn't get Steve's last name, but Steve D. I think that's how you sent it to me. P-Dog.
What up, P-Dog?
We got Travis L. and we got Juan Restrepo. So there's our 5 winners. And just so you know what the right answer...
Congratulations to those guys.
Well, they're the 5 finalists. Only one of them's going to win.
Oh, I see. Well, still, congratulations. You got in the final. That's awesome.
Right? Yep. So the right answer... If you're wondering, and I know a lot of you probably got it, but again, it was who got it in sooner and quicker. So the show was me. I'm Little Richard. So Marty, Lefty, whatever you want to put. I'm Little Richard, L-I-L, or Little, L-I-T-T-L-E. I'd have accepted any of those. And I'm with Talking Lead. We had Adam with Century Arms / Canic, and he's Tall Richard because he's like 6'10" or something. I don't know. He's crazy, 6'9", crazy tall.
I like Century Arms.
Good stuff. Canic, love Canic too. And of course, they're Red Army Standard and they're U.S. Palm, so they represent all those companies.
Oh, nice.
Andrew or Drew, also with Century, Canic, Red Army Standard.
I know him.
Yeah,
he's a solid guy.
Good dude. He's Silent Richard, also known as Silent Richard, because we typically do these at SHOT Show or NRA. And when we do him, he's hoarse. He's so hoarse he can't talk. So we call him Silent Richard. And then I mentioned Mike Sodini with Walk the Talk America. He was formerly with Eagle Imports. He is Guido Richard. If you've ever seen Sodini, he's a big Italian dude. And we had Raphael with Eagle Imports, also known as Raph. He is Top Richard because he's the oldest. That's Raphael. We had Corey Jones with Glock. And nice. Corey is OG Richard. So he's one of the original Richards. And how many was it? Is that everybody? I think that was everybody. I think that was all the Richards. Let me see if make sure.
All right.
Mike, Adam, Drew, Raphael, Corey, and me. Yeah, so that's us. That's everybody. So those were the correct answers. Some of you were getting the right Guido. You get the wrong company, or you'd get the wrong Guido. You know, you mix it up here and there, but for the most part, most of you got it right, and I appreciate everybody that took part in this. It was a good time. Again, like I said, it was unexpected. So of these 5, do you have a random number generator there, Chad?
Matt, you got a random number generator? I could probably whip one up real quick.
All right, so I read your names off the finalists. So Chad's going to get a random numberizer here, and it's Neil, you're number 1, Steve, you're number 2, P-Dog, you're number 3, Travis, you're number 4, and Juan, you're number 5. So let's
let me hit that button. Hold on.
So what's the winner?
Number 2. Congratulations,
Steve D.
Steve D. All right,
Steve D. And let's go to Steve D's email because
once he finds out, he's probably going to take number 2.
He's probably taking number 2, number 1. You'll do it all. Let's see. Where is Steve? Here's Steve. So, Steve, it says, I literally just found your podcast today because I listened to another show on the Firearms Radio Network, which you guys can also, I think a lot of you listeners listen to us on the Firearms Radio Network. So, kudos to the FRN. So, I listened to episode 378 that mentioned a giveaway on episode 377. 378 was our wild game episode, Chad, by the way. So I listened to 377, but I'm not familiar with any of you guys yet, ! I listened to 377 twice, but you didn't cover everyone's Richard's names. But I did. And I even gave hints in the show picture, the picture that I put with the show post. There was a big clue there too. But anyway, he goes on and says, I wasn't going to give up yet, so I went to the website, talkinglead.com, which is where you can find all of our podcasts from episode 1 all the way to now for 9 years of content, and listen to any episode with the Richards. And he puts the episodes 225, 201, 193, 174, and I came up with my guesses above. I might not be correct, but I put in some work to enter. 1,000 rounds of 9mm would be amazing because I'm tired of seeing jerks jacking up rounds to 70 cents each to practice at the range. Thanks for the show and giveaway. I'll be a long-time listener. Steve from PA.
Right on.
So definitely well-deserving there, Steve. You definitely put the work in, but I guarantee you, I assure you, the answer was in that episode. if you listened close enough and you paid attention to the clues. But yes, congratulations. Shoot me an email, Steve. I'll forward your contact information over to Adam. And it says here, I guess you want the 9mm. So just clarify if you want 9mm or you want 223, and we'll get those shipped out to you. So very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, that is very cool.
So Chad.
Yes, sir.
What's your New Year's resolution?
I didn't make one.
Not made one? I'm not much on making New Year's resolutions either.
Yeah.
Mine is to continue to bring the lead heads awesome guests, awesome content, awesome giveaways, which we are going to continue in our upcoming Talking Lead AK Corner series, Season 3. We're going to be kicking off, dropping Episode 1, January the 15th. And we've got some amazing giveaways that we're going to have there for you lead heads. I'm going to do a post on the upcoming episode, so you'll have an opportunity to get involved in the giveaways that we're going to be doing. But we've got some great sponsors that have jumped on board, some new sponsors this year. And our first episode, our guest is going to be none other than Professor Paul Markle with Student of the Gun.
Oh, nice. How's he doing? Is he okay?
He's doing good. He's doing real good.
Good, man.
I
haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah. He's hitting the weights, working out every day, beefing up, beat the cancer, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He even wrote a book about it. So.
You know, that's my New Year's resolution, to listen to more Talking Lead. There you go.
Okay, there you go. And I mean, how many podcasts do that? You know, we don't just provide our listeners with awesome content, information, and education. We like to call it Leaducation. But we actually pay our listeners to listen. I mean, with these awesome giveaways. Nobody's giving away more than Talking Lead, I guarantee you. Does Joe Rogan give you anything for listening to his podcast? Fuck no.
Laugh.
No, he don't. I mean, he just sells you shit on his podcast. We actually give you stuff here. We even get discount codes. We have discount codes so you can get discounts from these awesome companies. Mission First Tactical, you can use Leadhead, get 25% off at anything at Mission First Tactical. I was showing Chad one of our logo engraved MFT 30 round AR magazines.
I need to get one of those, man.
I'm going to send you one. I'm going to send you and Matt some mags.
All right, cool.
You guys are going to get those. They've got all kinds of AR accessories. They used to do AK accessories. I talked to Dave the other day, and again, like Kel-Tec and everybody else, they're just trying to get caught up with everything that's been going on. It's something that's in the works, though, and I can't wait to see what they're going to bring out for you lead heads. It's going to be awesome. Our episode that we had a few episodes back with Dwight Settle with Seal 1 and Kirk Mickelson with Taz Fabrication, also Guardian Target System, they hooked you guys up with discount codes. If you go to the Guardian Target System website, use GoGear10, you get 10% off. If you go to Seal 1's website, you use the code NEW, N-E-W, and you're going to get 25% off any of their products there. And just a hint, those are going to be part of some of the giveaways that we're going to have on the AK Corner. They've got some things there. Taz Fabrication, they're going to do something really cool with the Talking Lead AK Corner logo. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But some lucky leadhead is going to win that.
Right on.
Yeah, man, yeah. So pay attention, listen to our episodes, every episode, because you never know what we're going to drop your way. Oh. Discount codes, giveaways, awesome guests, who knows? Chad, I appreciate you taking the time to be on, buddy.
I love being on.
Love having you on.
Thanks for asking me.
And appreciate your no-filtered opinions on, when it comes to our, I guess we'll call it politics, that we do on the Jackwagon train. You just don't hold back, and I appreciate that. A lot of people are, reserved and don't really speak their minds, but you can tell that you say exactly how you feel. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know any other way.
Well, there shouldn't be any other way, right?
Absolutely not.
Matt, appreciate you being a voyeur. Wish you would get on and join us sometime.
He's just chewing on something, shaking his head.
You got anything to say to the leadheads, Matt?
He just shook his head and said, "Mm-mm."
Is he eating lunch over there?
He's the guy behind the camera, just so everybody knows. He doesn't say much.
Go make sure you show all our sponsors the love and attention that they deserve. Buy their products. Hit them up on the social medias. Kel-Tec Weapons, again, thank you guys so much for jumping in, sponsoring the show, making it happen, being the consummate guests that we have on here, taking the time to share with the lead heads. I guess if you wanted to, I mean, that was one of the questions. I'm supposed to hold you to the floor on this, I guess, before we sign off. Is there any nuggets that you can drop? And we know the situation right now. You're concentrating on just the things you got, but you do have some things when everything settles down that's in the works. What can you tease us with?
I can tell you for this year. I can tell you about one other gun that I can't tell you about.
Okay, that's it.
There you go.
Okay, some other nugget.
I'll drop a hint. Here's a nugget. We're going back to the basics. We're going back to kind of where Kel-Tec started. I'll give you that. That's it.
The what was that gun that George developed? The Tech 9? Going back to the Tech 9?
That would kind of be the P50 sort of.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
No, it's you'll dig it, and it'll be something very, very new for us though.
Okay.
In fact, it'll be a first for us.
Interesting.
But that's all I can drop. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe
I don't think won't be waiting that long though.
Not too long. Let's say maybe you're. Is that Chuck Norris?
Yeah.
Hey buddy. Hey buddy. Let's say maybe your guy who leaked out the pictures will leak out something on the new release.
Maybe.
Maybe he'll do a twofer.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, lead heads. If you have any questions, any comments, you want to submit some Jackwagons, some heroes, or there's a special guest maybe you'd like us to get on the show, talkingled@gmail.com. Send that to me. Yep.
One of my heroes just came by for a visit.
What's up, hero? How you doing?
Sheriff Deputy from the Osceola County Sheriff's Department. Awesome guy.
Right on. Is he going to acquire some 5.7s from you guys?
Nah, he's just he's a good guy. We have known each other since we were high school kids.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we got to get him on as a guest sometime.
Absolutely. He'd be great at it.
Hell yeah. I'd love to have him.
He's nodding his head, yeah. I could do that.
Okay. All right. We'll plan on having him on next time we have you on.
All right. Yeah, sounds good.
Very cool. But until then, Leadheads, as always, make sure you go support those that sponsor the show, make it possible, our sponsors and the friends of the show, and keep your loved ones close.
And your Kel-Tecs closer.
And especially the new P50.
Yeah.
Baby.
Outtakes.
One of these days you're going to upgrade away from Skype.
No, probably not. Not unless they cancel it.
Still driving the lead wagon, so it's a good point.
I like classics. These microphones are sensitive.
You're sensitive.
I am. I'm so sensitive.
Oh my God.
You used to have a ponytail. You were super sensitive. What's that?
I was super sexy.
I was just looking at some old Nut and Fancy videos, and I'm like, I can't believe that was 9 years ago, 10 years ago.
That's weird because I was thinking about that yesterday. I was thinking about you and the Nut and Fancy videos, and that's like the first exposure I had to Kel-Tec Chad.
It's been 10 SHOT shows.
Holy cow.
Yeah. I've been here 11 years.
Man. We're going into our 9th year here.
Yeah.
Talking lead, so, man.
It's wild, man.
I can't believe we've known each other that long. Hey,
that's cool. Big twin frame. Where is that? Oh. He's just trying to rile people up. Oh.
What's that?
A buddy of mine, he put a big twin frame in a garbage can and took a picture of it. He's trying to make everybody mad.
It's a big garbage can.
Yeah, it's a A big twin frame is like an old shovel head or pan head frame.
Mm-hmm.
And they're crazy expensive right now. So it's like, throwing some Ferrari parts in a garbage can, taking pictures of it.
Yeah.
It's clickbaiting people.
Smart.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to ask you when we get done with this, do you want to, if you have time, do you want to jump on an Instagram live with me and we can announce this show for people coming up? And I've got 1,000 rounds of ammo to give away.
1,000 rounds.
1,000 rounds, baby. That's like gold.
Dude, that is. Where do I get 1,000 rounds? Oh wow, 1,000 rounds of 223 is $1,000.
At least.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a good training case right there. Make the most of it.
Yeah. I'm having a training course in Nashville in February.
You are?
Uh-huh. At Royal Range, USA.
What are the details?
It's an AK rifle course.
Okay.
It's a 2-day, basically fundamentals rifle course, but just using an AK. And there'll be some transition drills and stuff like that in with pistols.
Okay.
But we're having some giveaways, and there's going to be some personalities there. Be a good time. Are you getting ready to show me something you're not supposed to?
No. As I'm standing up to take my pants off? No. I was just looking for an optic.